Welcome to this FoodNet and KLFY Plus special presentation, Feeding Acadiana.
Welcome to this special presentation where we're shining a light on FoodNet, whose goal is to create awareness about food insecurity in Acadiana and provide meals to those in need. I'm Lydia Alcala. You may be aware of your local food pantry serving the poor or the Food for Families food drive that happens each December, but what is FoodNet? Kayla Stansbury explains the merger with Catholic Charities of Acadiana and the legacy Marcel Citron created.
It is a great privilege to carry on the legacy of a woman who just felt the need to respond to hunger in her community.
In 2019, the Citron family and Catholic Charities joined forces to ensure FoodNet's mission would be carried out for years to come.
We're in FoodNet Food Bank right now. This particular program is so special and so beautiful. When partner pantries come over here and pick up food, it's wonderful, they're delighted, they're grateful. But when we get to go to those partner pantries on the days that they're distributing this food to their neighbors, there's nothing like it. As the cars are driving through the line, getting to meet the people, getting to hear their names, getting to learn where that food's going. Some of these people are bringing the food home to their families. Some of these people are bringing it to their neighborhoods for people who can't leave their homes, who are prisoners in their own homes, who are suffering with food insecurity. This really is a neighbor helping neighbor helping neighbor.
It's the interactions with these struggling individuals that keep Catholic Charities staff and volunteers motivated to serve each and every day.
Some of the interactions are a little heartbreaking. We don't always know what it's like to have to decide whether to keep the lights on or to buy groceries, whether to pay for a prescription or to put food on the table. And so it's heartbreaking sometimes to hear those stories, but the gratitude and the joy in these people's hearts knowing that they can count on a consistent supplemental food bag week after week, there's nothing like it.
Volunteers like Lydia Cloninger keep this organization afloat.
It's just fun helping other people, you know.
Many others like Lydia come back weekly, putting together meal kits, organizing donations, and so much more.
I've been very blessed. I worked for many years, but now I have the free time to give back. And like I say, these ladies, this is almost sometimes I feel selfish. It's therapy for me because we come, we work really hard on certain days. Certain days there's not as much to do, but it's just a way for me to give back in a very small way. But I've embraced all this, but it's just a lot of fun and a lot of, you know, good memories here, and I hope to be able to do it forever and ever.
Cloninger reminds us there's always work to be done and people to help. Acadiana has no shortage of opportunities to get involved.
Well, there's so many ways to get involved in Lafayette, whether it's Catholic Charities or the diner or a number of things. And if you've got the time, search it. And it's a commitment, but it's not a commitment like you've got a job and you have to go. I mean, some days we just can't show for various reasons. But you'll enjoy it, the work, the people you meet is another whole group of people, and it's just fabulous. And so just reach out and find something because there's always something to do, and I've loved this, I truly have.
Stansbury recalls her first days working at Catholic Charities of Acadiana and the shock she felt visiting food banks and learning how many people around us are living in poverty.
And I think for most of us, we have no idea that so many of our neighbors are in need. So many of our neighbors are suffering with food insecurities. 1 in every 5 households here in Acadiana suffers with food insecurity. And the cars at some of these places are lined up before the sun comes up, because we only have X amount of food that we can distribute, and it's first come, first serve, and we do the best we can to reach everyone that we can. But that was the thing that most surprised me, is how many of our neighbors are in need.
When asked what she would tell others about this mission, Stansbury says it's rooted in love for our neighbors.
If I had to describe the work of this organization and FoodNet Food Bank, it would be compassion and joy and mercy. I don't think you can do it in one fell swoop. There's just great joy in getting to do what we do, and that's just a response to love.
Catholic Charities of Acadiana and FoodNet merged in 2019, but the goal remained the same, to reduce hunger in Acadiana. This wouldn't be possible without volunteers. Welcome back, everyone. We are now visiting with Mr. Bert Arsenault. Mr. Bert has been a volunteer with Catholic Charities of Acadiana for quite some time, so that means you've been around the Food for Families food drive for a long time. Thank you for chatting with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Okay, tell us about your role when it comes to the Food for Families drive.
Well, you know, every year we have the KLFY Catholic Charities of Acadiana food drive, and I pretty much handle some of the logistics of, helping people get in and out as quickly as possible, because last year we had over 100 pallets of food donated, so the people need to come in pretty quickly. We unload them with volunteers, so just kind of handling some of the logistics of all of that. So that's pretty much my responsibilities for the food drive there. So
now we're chatting here at the Cajun Dome because this is sort of the hub of the food drive. Of course, there are many locations throughout Acadiana that folks can drop off their donations, but this is a big deal here at the Cajun Dome. Each and every year we're a part of it. We see the hustle that everybody puts into this event. How has it grown over the years? What have you noticed?
Well, every year someone in Acadiana every day of the week is experiencing hunger. And so I feel that it's important that everyone does their part to kind of help, whether it be volunteering at the St. Joseph Diner or supporting the local food drives like KLFY, or maybe making a monetary donation to organizations like FoodNet, So, but the food drive has evolved over the years, and like I said, last year we took in over 100 pallets of food, so the people of Acadiana have been very generous, and we encourage them again this year to come. Hopefully the weather cooperates with us, and come and drop off their donations here at the food drive and everything. So.
And on a more personal note, Mr. Burt, what does it mean to you to do this each and every year? Why do you keep coming back and volunteering?
Well, I've seen some of the, sometimes we volunteer, or I volunteer at St. Joseph Diner, and I see the results of being, experiencing hunger. And, no one should really experience hunger in our area. So, like I said, we just all need to do our part, whatever that might be, volunteering or making donations or bringing donations to the food drive. So that always goes a long way in helping those experiencing hunger in our area there. So.
Absolutely. And Catholic Charities does have quite a few ways that folks can get involved and help those in need. So the Food for Families food drive is just one of many ways that we can help. And maybe you'll get to work alongside Mr. Burt if you decide to be a Catholic Charities volunteer. We appreciate you chatting with us today, though.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again, the Food for Families food drive. It happens every December. A very big deal here to support those in need in Acadiana. We'll be right back. Over the years, the list of FoodNet partner pantries has grown. In Franklin, the Emergency Aid Center is where over 600 individuals rely on meals every single month. Chuck Otan tells me he and the center's volunteers are happy to serve.
We just work hard and people come volunteer, and this is what we do, and I enjoy every minute of it.
The Emergency Aid Center was started in 1978 by Alfreda Laws, who gave clothing to those in need.
She called it the Lord's Linens. She started in the back of a trunk of a car giving out clothes. And from that, it began going on, and it got bigger, and it moved on Willis Street. Then we moved to St. Jude's Old Church. Then 25 years ago, we moved here.
Now the center focuses on providing food, but they're always willing to take donations of blankets, jackets, diapers, and other necessities some people may not have access to.
Find a food bank. Find one in your area. Find one in Lafayette. St. Joseph's Diner, the Catholic Charities is awesome. They give out in Lafayette. They're wonderful people, but they may need something. St. Joseph's Diner every day. Just everybody needs help, and I take anything I can get. I know times are hard, but if everybody brings 5 cans, 5 cans in half.
Otan says working at the Emergency Aid Center has opened his eyes to the struggles many face.
Everybody's fighting the battle. It's truly heartbreaking. Some people you help, and it's just what we do here. It's an experience. It's a humbling experience, and God gave me the health to be able to do it, and I'm here doing it.
Even when the shelves are looking bare, help always shows up.
When you least expect it, it just shows up. I call it pennies from heaven. They just show up.
Join us for more after this quick break.
FoodNet is almost 4 decades old. In that time, thousands in Acadiana have gotten involved. Among those who continue to contribute each year are students from David Thibodeau STEM Magnet Academy who donate non-perishables during Food for Families. Students at David Thibodeau tell me this season of giving has taught them invaluable lessons about what community means.
There are so many people struggling, and they're just like us. When we struggle, we know there's someone backing us up, there's someone helping us, because that's how we were raised, that's how we should be. We should always be helping each other out. That's what a community is. That's what makes us stronger as a whole. So just knowing that I can give back in some way, in some form, and let others do the same, it just feels good to know that someone else who is struggling does not have to stress about that anymore. Like they know there's someone backing them up, even if they don't know who it is.
Hia Patel, Kylie DeVille, Gina Frawley, and Sydney Hines, despite their youth, are aware that many of our neighbors experience food insecurity. And Frawley says that's something no one should have to worry about.
Nobody should be hungry, ever. So it just feels really good to be aware that everybody is getting something out of this. You're getting something by giving back.
To get students in the spirit of giving, David Thibodeau makes it fun with a bit of friendly competition.
So we have like these doors that we put on the teachers' doors, and we stack the cans up, and whoever reaches the tallest, they get like a free IF or some type of incentive. So this really gets them to start bringing in and helping the community out.
Even though students are offered incentives for donating canned goods, the importance of supporting FoodNet is not lost on them.
We know that it's helping a lot of people that are less fortunate and don't have as easy access to food as some of the people that we have, like some of the students here. So it's good that we're able to donate back to our community in a way like that.
DeVille says those who can donate should.
Think about somebody you've seen who is struggling. It might be somebody close to you. And think about the times when you've been struggling. Like he has said, when you know that you are having a rough time, you know that you have people to help you. So some people might not have that person, so we need to be that person for those people.
You're watching Feeding Acadiana on KLFY+.
In the late 1980s, one woman was passionate about feeding the hungry. Her name was Marcel Citron. What began in her home turned into a network of food pantries. Today, her family is continuing what she started. Welcome back, everyone. Todd Citron with Hub City Ford joining us right now. Hub City Ford is how you guys may recognize him, but Todd, you're here for another reason today. I can't wait to get into it. Thanks for being here.
Well, Lydia, thank you for having me. Yes, you know, I've been at Hub City Ford since birth, and we've been involved with FoodNet since the very beginning. In 1986, Marcel Forche Citron, my mom, started FoodNet. It's been a part of our family. I wouldn't even know, you know, otherwise. We're proud to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I want to talk more about your mom, Miss Marcel Citron. Founded FoodNet in 1986. Do I have my year correct?
That's right.
October of 1986, so it's been about 39 years now. Tell us a little bit about your mom.
Well, Mom had 6 boys. I was the youngest, and when I took off to LSU, she took off to FoodNet, and she decided to start this organization. It came out of an idea from some college kids at Stanford. They had done a case study about, you know, a food bank in California, and so Mom kind of brought that idea to Lafayette. She was already involved in Faith House and also with the Women's Cursillo, and Mom was raised by the Ursuline sisters in New Orleans, and, you know, she's just was a beautiful soul. She loved Mother Teresa, and Mother Teresa said, "Do small things with great love." And, you know, that was really how FoodNet came about. And so, you know, she started FoodNet and really out of the back of our house. I mean, I think I may have told you that we would get calls at all times of the night for people that needed food, and Mom would literally, you know, pack the food in her Explorer and take off across town and deliver it. And so it's always been personal with our family, and we were so proud of what she did, and we've always been a part of it, the company especially.
She sounds like such an amazing woman. And growing up with a mom like that and having someone like her to look up to, how did that impact you as a child?
Well, Mom grew up in an all-boy household, right? So, you know, she was the softer side of all of us. But, you know, we always like to say, you know, Mom was like Mother Teresa with a car dealership. So she had this power with advertising and with the money that we spend, also to leverage that into the community to use for good. And so Mom always, you know, she won the Salute to the Dealers Award with Ford Motor Company. They only give that award to 4 dealers in the whole world every year, and she was one of the first ones to receive it. So, you know, we went up to Dearborn, Michigan, and they put a plaque for her, and, you know, they recognized that she, you know, she loved her community, and she wanted to feed the hungry. I want to share with you, if you don't mind, I was in the chapel this morning, and I read this. It's a quote from the book of James, but I thought of you in this endeavor. What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister has nothing to wear and has no food for the day, and one of you says to them, go in peace, keep warm, and eat well, but you do not give them the necessities of the body, what good is it? So, you know, it basically says you can't just look at the hungry and expect someone else to feed them. So FoodNet's a call to action. You know, we have to get off the couch, and we have to get to that Cajun Dome and, you know, give to FoodNet all year long. If you don't have food to give money. But our community needs it. We've been given so much at the dealership. We've been here since 1943. And, you know, we're a big part of this community, and we've been blessed, and we want to give back.
Yeah. Now, with, unfortunately, your mom, Miss Marcel, not being here anymore, how do you want to continue her legacy? And what are your goals, I guess, for FoodNet? And what do you want to show the community to keep her legacy going?
You know, there were times when FoodNet was going to disband after her, and I may have mentioned that, you know, your general manager, Fran, we talked at Mom's funeral, and we made a decision that we weren't going to let her legacy die. And then we also had a lot of wrangling with FoodNet, and Catholic Charities brought them in. So, you know, I was in on the ground level of both of those conversations. As long as I'm alive, there'll be a FoodNet, you know. If I have to carry it on my shoulders, you know, it means too much to our family. And like I said, even I want to acknowledge a gentleman that worked for us for 50 years, Mr. Albert Melanson, would go around town and pick up food and bring it to the Cajun Dome for those who were working. So, you know, it's just a part of who we are. It's a part of our family with our employees. All of our employees get involved, and you know, I can't imagine what it would be without it. I may have spoken to you and told you that I do a podcast called Cajun Catholics on Catholic Radio, and you know, that's, I guess, what God has laid on my heart for now, to give back to the community. But I want to do more, and I plan to do more. You know, we're called to do more, and I hope I can fill her legacy.
Yeah, Miss Marcel definitely started something amazing, and you guys are doing a wonderful job at keeping that going. So again, like Todd said, we need to support FoodNet and help our neighbors in need all year long, not just when that huge food drive comes around every December, but let's give what we can to those in need. We'll be right back.
Join us for more after this quick break.
Every year in December, thousands in Acadiana come together with a common goal: to end food insecurity. Many rely on their local food pantries for meals, and for over 4 decades, FoodNet has made it their mission to stock the shelves. People like Gary Arnold have seen the impact the Food for Families food drive makes. Welcome back. Gary Arnold, former KLFY TV 10 anchor, joining us today. And Gary, I'm going to pick your brain today about Food for Families and FoodNet, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for being here.
It is my pleasure, but remember, I have this gray hair, so the memory may be a little sparse at times.
Well,
happy to help you, though.
I know. I'm happy to hear from you because you were at KLFY for 42 years.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And that means you were there for the start of the Food for Families food drive.
Right. I remember the first year that they had the Food for Families food drive, and it was a big event that was coming up, and FoodNet, along with KLFY, with Jim Baronet and Maria Placer, we're talking about this one-day event where we're going to try to raise as much food as we could for the people of Acadiana. Well, we were going, hey, is that going to work? We don't know if that's going to work just one day. How much can you raise in one day? So the very first broadcast, Jim Baronet and Maria Placer, they were on the location at the Cajun Dome. And it was pretty interesting because it was dark and we were waiting for the first car to come. We had talked to people for months and weeks to come and give food for the TV10 FoodNet Food for Families food drive. And Jim Baronet's out there all by himself at one point. And we go, is anybody going to show up? But when the first person showed up, I guess you might say that's history beginning, because another one showed up, then another, then another. Then we had a whole train of vehicles showing up. A lot of people trying to get there before they went to work.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I want to know, so obviously you saw the food drive for many years, year after year. At the Cajun Dome, of course, it expanded to have many different locations throughout Acadiana.
Right.
How much did it change from year one to your last year working it?
Well, it was basically the same, but we had so many people throughout Acadiana with their own individual food banks that were helping out. And we would help them, they would help us, and we would also have a little breakfast before the FoodNet Food for Families food drive at one of the restaurants, and we would talk to the people who were in charge of those particular food banks, and we would get ready, and that came in later years, so the people could meet the people involved in it who were in the local areas. For the most part, we had a pretty good network going, but we had one or two that would add in, or maybe one location, we would add an additional location because people were trying to get to school or to work to make it more convenient for them. It did grow, and fortunately, it grew in a good way. You know, before you know it, we had this big old food drive where they were collecting hundreds of tons of food, which we never imagined that would ever happen, but we were so pleased with it.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. They have literal 18-wheelers coming to pick up the pallets of food, and I mean, they'll make multiple trips. It's really amazing to see how many people come together for this common goal of feeding the hungry in Acadiana. It's something special.
You know, we were talking about the people. For instance, when we started, it were for people who were kind of hurt by maybe the bust of the oil industry. They were trying to get food from the local government agencies, could not. They were slipping through the cracks, or they needed some time to get ready. So the FoodNet organization was helping with that. And it was a group of people that before possibly didn't even need help because they were in the oil business, and because all of a sudden they saw that they had no food, because it was gone, because they had no money, because they were trying to make ends meet without a job. And that's how FoodNet came in, to help those people who normally didn't need help before. But again, it's grown so much since then. And we had people helping people. We had a guy drive up or ride up on a bicycle giving food. And that was pretty touching too. And all the little kids that would come out in the school buses, and it was really gratifying and a big help. Yeah.
Now, Marcel Citron started this whole thing, started FoodNet almost 40 years ago. Did you ever get to interact with Marcel?
Absolutely. She was a person's person and people. She would walk around at FoodNet. It would be freezing outside, and she would be bundled up, and she was hands-on altogether. And I would think, Marcel, you need to, you know, hold back a little bit, because she was older than me at the time, and she had been in this at a long, I guess maybe 10 or 15 years, or maybe more than that, with FoodNet before we got involved with them. But she would be walking around outside in the cage dome. It would be freezing cold, and she would be helping out. And I'd said, calm down, we need you to stick around. But she was always hands-on, just a wonderful person.
Yeah, I got to hear a lot about Marcel from one of her sons, Todd Citron.
Todd,
who's,
great guy.
Yeah, a big part of it, stays involved with FoodNet. And so it's just amazing to hear about the legacy that she started and sort of what it's turned into now. So.
Well, the thing about it is, this is a lady who did not have to do this. Yeah. They had Hub City Ford, you know, a thriving business, and this is something they did not have to do. Yeah. And she was out there, and being a part of it, she was an inspiration to most of us, because Marcel can do this. We need to put a little bit of extra oomph into it. And again, you would look back at her and you just watch her walk around and talk to people, and she'd come up and she'd talk to you, and she was so happy with what she was doing, and you could see the pride in her face about what was going on.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe we're almost out of time, Gary, but one last question for you. I want to know, what do you have to tell the people of Acadiana watching now about how important and how special this event is, and just encouraging folks to get involved with FoodNet, not only for the December food drive, but year-round?
What better gift to give people out there than the gift of food? People who are too proud to say, I'm struggling, I need help, and that's how FoodNet has helped out. And there are people out there who have to take medicines. They don't have the food to take, food to ingest with the medicines. They have kids or they have grandkids. They just can't afford that extra $1 or $2, and they try to give the best way we can. So if you can, any bag, any cash donation helps to build that big, hopefully that big group of bags that we need to get up to that 100 tons of food. So please don't think any donation is too small. Just please give. Yeah.
And that's a good reminder as well, because we talk a lot about donating food, which is amazing, but monetary donations are accepted.
They certainly are, for those perishable goods.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Gary, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Gary Arnold joining us for our FoodNet special. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to help your neighbors in need and donate to your local food pantry. I'm Lydia Alcala.
If you'd like to help feed Acadiana's less fortunate, you can visit CatholicCharitiesofAcadiana.org/FoodNet.